the first thing is the person that he was the right-hand man of that was really heading this is known for remote viewing, and when I did research on him, I located the fact that he is, associated with a lot of negative technologies, including HARP and ELF. But besides that, what they understood about me was something that one would only understand if they were able to time travel. So there were things about, jump rooms and the looking glass thing and cubes. I mean, things that I couldn't really sort out because I was in survival on a heart level. And even though I did research and I have a lot of it written down, it's almost hard to put into words, but there was something with the Akashic records and remote viewing and time travel that was able to somehow stay one step ahead of the process of nature unfolding as it should have. And when I clued into this, it helped me kind of get one step ahead of them, because I wasn't really going to let myself fall in love and, be blinded and go off to Mars and this and that. I mean, I was really on to all of this, so I kind of had to jump myself a little bit even further ahead and do a little bit of my own sort of going back into time without using technology, but just, I started to understand just what I needed to understand. And they were targeting me, I guess, because I'm able to create this shift, and they targeted him because he was somebody that I could really do this with on Earth. And they recruited him out of the Knights Templar Freemasonry group that he was somewhat affiliated with. And before he met me, they had just kind of set him up to meet me, and we probably would have met anyway, but when he did meet me, it was under their control. And he wanted me to go to Mars, and it was funny because he had names that he had identified with himself growing up, Osiris, Oberon, and Orion, and was talking to me about Sophia Magdalene and how that was a part of what these groups understood. And so there's a level of awareness about what could be happening without their influence that they just wanted to get in the way of. And they've used all sorts of means, and this is something that's been happening for lifetimes, and this is where Eisenhower kind of comes in, because even, during the time of Hitler and, these type of wars, and there's one scenario after another that's trying to defeat and win over a high vibration of human compassion, justice, fairness, and the sense of having a global family. And so, to me, it was just, why am I taking this on? A lot of it has to do with the Eisenhower bloodline, but in further investigation, through these time travel and remote viewing things, there's a lot more to it that I was already aware of before they met me. So all the pieces came together.
We have about a minute and a half in this segment. Do you want to just summarize for for the listening audience what you'd like to have investigated?
Yes, I would like to have investigated. Well, there's a few key players that are hard for me to say, but without pointing any fingers, I think, Dr. Hal Puthoff needs to be investigated. The aviary, which has been a hidden branch of the government, needs to be investigated, because these are some of the things that maybe or maybe not, but with a very strong suspicion on my part after what I've been through, are behind the technologies, behind mind control, behind chipping individuals, behind false abductions that mimic actual real abductions, and that, anything that's been covered up in the government, Obama's not that far away from me as far as somebody that I could create relations with. My mom did a speech at the Democratic Convention as a Republican that switched from the Democratic Party. If, I have the support that I need, I know that I can get myself to where I need to be to demand that some of these things happen. I've always, actually as a child, felt like I was going to have a role like this, as scary as it was. So on top of all those things needing to be investigated, there needs to be a radical movement and a truth campaign to not wait for the powers that be to discover it, but for us to demand that the powers that be do something about it and open their eyes to the dangers that we're in.